Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Giancarlo Esposito, and I am the commercial director of Silcon Ambiental. That is a 100% Brazilian environmental engineering company. And we were founded in 1994 to treat healthcare waste in a small city of São Paulo State, called Paulínia. And since the beginning, aiming to meet the global sustainability and the social responsibility, we have been developing waste management technologies for hazardous waste for the last 25 years. And following the growth of waste management demand in Brazil, now we operate 4 industrial plants for different kinds of waste treatment. Well, today we can treat 1,400 tons of healthcare waste per month and 1,000 tons of industrial waste per month. Well, when we talk about healthcare waste, our clients are municipalities and private hospitals. And when we talk about the industrial waste, our clients are companies from all sectors of the economy. As the pharmaceutical, automotive, and agrochemical ones, and etc. We have a very open clients charter in Brazil, in our company. Well, today we operate 7 kinds of technologies and services, so we hope to provide our clients a complete solution. And they are described there: blending for co-processing in energy cement kilns, aerosol cans and gas recycling. This is important, we're going to talk about, because it's directly related with greenhouse emissions. Electronics, reverse manufacture, sterilization, incineration for agrochemicals. In Brazil, we don't have other option to treat agrochemicals, so we have to incinerate them, and we do that. We also operate a chemical emergencies management system, and we offer also a complete waste management. There is a consulting and operational service. So we can get in our client and study what they are producing, the kind of waste, and planning and operating a solution. Well, since the beginning, Silcon is very concerned on improving the best practice in our country. This is very important. We are in the beginning of new technologies and new laws to improve the environment sector. So we hold a seat in the in ABRELP board. ABRELP is the Brazilian Association of Urban Cleaning and Hazardous Waste Treatment Companies. And ABRELP has been working since 1976. And ABRELP is represents ISWA in Brazil. There's a music yeah, together. Like Brazilians, we Brazilians like it. ABRELP represents ISWA, that is the International Solid Waste Association in Brazil. ABRELP, since 2003, reports an annual panorama about this waste management situation in Brazil. And the last one showed that in 2008, we produced 70 million tons of waste. That is 1% more than 2017. And this amount represents 40% of the total amount of Latin American waste. And by 2030, we are going to produce 100 million tons of waste per year. And São Paulo State, the state where we operate, is the biggest generator that holds 20% of the total amount. Well, a good data that ABRELP's panorama showed is that the correct collection increased 2%, the collection. But the biggest problem we still have in Brazil is that 60% of our waste goes to landfills. In São Paulo, only 3% of our waste are recycled. And the other problem, the biggest problem, 40% still goes to open air dumping grounds. So in Brazil, we are still struggling against a medieval manner of dealing with waste. This is very bad. And when we talk about the coexistence of population living beside these open air grounds, this goes against the most basic precepts of human rights. You see, and we are talking about hazardous waste mixed up with common trash, with day-by-day trash thrown in open air dumping grounds. Well, in Brazil, we have now 5,500 cities, and 3,000 of them don't have the appropriated systems to treat and dispose of their waste. And this goes against federal law, that 2010 federal law that's called today National Solid Waste Policy. And this law established a deadline to close all open-air dumping grounds by 2014, but they are still there. A good thing is that this law is a milestone for us, because in Brazil, for the first time, it was established concrete parameters to be followed, and were established rights and duties to the citizens, to the companies, and to the government. An example of that, but see, now we are 10 years later, and now we are starting to see real action, real concrete action by the companies and by the government to enforce the law. And we believe this is happening due to consumer pressure and international pressure for more sustainable actions, sustainable practices in our country. And two examples here that good things that are being made is that CETESB, that is São Paulo State Environmental Agency, has just published a new law in last October that complies the companies to collect and recycle the goods and the packages that they sold and were used by the end consumer. And a good and strong thing is that a company that doesn't comply the law can have its activities interrupted. And now in São Paulo, there is a big movement to comply with this law. And Fiesp is the biggest federation of São Paulo state industries, just built and currently operates a collective solution, so the companies that are affiliated can comply with this law. And Silcon holds a chair in that program too. And it's working, it's really working. Well, when I talk about a little bit of money, in Brazil, waste management is legally a municipal responsibility. And we are talking about small cities. And the national average investment in waste management in Brazil today is $2.40 for habitant per month. We are talking about less than a cent of dollar per day. So we don't have enough money. We need more investment to train the technical teams, the technical teams from the cities, so they can contract the proper solutions. And when you talk about all waste management, of course, the citizens are an important part. And we believe, too, that the citizens' money and resources should help towards the solution. But in Brazil, we have first to improve people's basic living conditions. And we have to increase the investment in the education before talking about trash with them. This is the problem. There is a biggest problem that was we are inside, and Silcon is trying to help, and we operate in this market, is the hazardous waste problem. The hazardous waste is the one that causes the serious harm to the population, especially the most vulnerable one, and threatens people's lives. And again, violates the most basic precepts of the universal human rights. Remember, we told that 40% of our waste goes to open-air dumping grounds. And chemical waste, biological risk waste, all kind of waste. In 2018, Brazil produced 250,000 tons of healthcare waste, and 100,000 just in São Paulo state. Okay. And again, this is another problem, that 60% part that goes to landfills often end up without treatment, the biological risk are not is not end. It goes from the hospital directly to the landfill. Well, now we are going to start about a little bit of Silcon solutions. The newest one is a system that recycles aerosol dispensers. It's a very, very dangerous kind of waste. We see in Brazil today, I can see day by day, very big accidents with deaths involved, involving the aerosol dispensers. And today, ABAS, there is the Association of Aerosols and Household Sanitaries of Brazil. They just published a data that in Brazil, our consumption is in 7 cans per person per month. So we are talking about 1 billion cans per year. And today, less than 1% are collected and recycled. Talking about good things, ABAS just signed, because of that law, that CETESB law that I told you before that was published last October, ABAS just signed a commitment to start solving the problem by 2020. And we are inside that. We are trying to help. We are contact ABAS to offer our system. Well, this system was all developed, researched, licensed, and now operates by us. And it took like 4 or 5 years to be done. And these systems removes and segregates aerosol cans contents, including the gas. The difference of our system is that we can store the gas and reuse the gas as green energy. So we are, in our system, we don't have gas emissions to the atmosphere. The propane and butane gases that are inside of the cans. Remember, when the can is empty, actually it's full of gas. The gas is there. So we have a closed system. When you put the can and all the contents goes, the metal, the plastic part, and the gas are stored and recycled. Well, other great solution, there is this new unity, industrial unity, where we operate an American pyrolysis reactor, where we use waste as raw material to produce fuel, oil, gas, and coal. There is some other Brazilian companies operating pyrolysis, but in small, not in the amount that we are doing, and with the variety of residues that we are doing, including healthcare waste. The waste comes from the hospital and goes inside the reactor, and then in the other side we get oil, gas, and coal, and water. The water is clean and can be reused too. So in that system, we eliminate biological and chemical risks through that safe and efficient system. Well, here is a little bit about what we try to offer and solution in all this problem in Brazil. We are trying, not just us, but our market, our sector, our government are trying to take off the residues from and the waste from the landfills. Before, from the open air dumping grounds, and after that, take off from the landfills. So we are developing and trying to get new technologies from the more developed countries. And so says this National Solid Policy Law. There is a law that have to be followed. And to end, we are adhering now to the GHG protocol to calculate our carbon emissions. We want to know by math how we really can contribute to stop global warming. Well, we want to talk all our employees that work so hard every day to help us to fulfill our mission. Okay, thank you.